Alright, hello and welcome to Live with Bo here on Bo Beats, youtube.com/BoBeatsMusic. So today I'm testing out my new streaming setup. As you can see, I have a window captured from the Maschine software as well as a webcam showcasing the Maschine Studio. I also hope I managed to sync all the audio. It's a big hassle, it takes a lot of time, and perhaps you can be helpful in telling me how it all, fits together. There might be slight delays on some things because I'm tweaking the milliseconds here. So yeah, and if random sounds pop up in the middle of the stream, or if my child come bursting in through the door, it's all good. It's just a quick morning stream with Mr. Bo. And I have my trusted cup of coffee here with me as well. See if I can get it in the shot. So the first thing I want to try here is to show you samples that I've sampled from my Analog Rytm onto the Maschine. The Maschine is a hardware interface that is super smooth at sampling other sources. For example, my analog drum machine from Electron. So let me just play a couple of samples that I have here, and I hope everything sounds decent. So these are loops. And I also have one-shots. And a friend of mine is watching the stream. I give him a shout out. Stefan from Sweden. Thank you for checking so everything seems in sync. Because I have a microphone and I have the audio from the computer synced as well with audio from my inputs. So actually, the sounds you'll be hearing now are actually coming from my physical synthesizer, not from the machine. But as you can see, they're inputted into the machine. So I thought I'd start off by showing you the loops here. So I can show you the loops are of course very fun just to use as they are, but let me try and play them for you. Oh no, sorry. Let's see here again. No, whoa. On the fly stuff are never good. Let's see here. Something like that. This is just something you can really use loops on the machine. In order to create variations and fun beats. Even if somebody else has made them for you, you can use them. So these are samples that I'm thinking of releasing as part of a Maschine kit, as well as I'm thinking of doing an Ableton kit, as well as other stuff. So I'm just going to switch over to my other computer here and just check if there's any questions in the chat before I get on with it. All right, hello Andrew, nice to see you, and good that the stream scene seems in sync. Yeah, Andrew says in the chat that he can see my reflections in the screens from the machine. So yeah, it's all good. Or I guess perhaps in the screen or in the reflection from the plastic covers. So the machine is really nice when it comes to sampling. So I'll just try and show you a little bit, and you can probably see on the little screen that I've captured from machine as well. So here I have a couple of drum samples. The kick. We can, let's see here, fixed velocity. So fixed velocity means that, you know, there's no velocity change when I press the pad. So here we have a kick, snare, a little clickety rim shot, a big clap. And if we go into edit mode here, you can see that these samples are pretty nicely cut. But this one has a very long tail. So first thing I want to do is I want to truncate the start. So I know that it starts perfectly on time. And then I want to, you know, get a feel for where I want the sample to end. These are processed samples, so I want a bit of end because I have a bit of reverb to them, or something else, you know, a bit of decay, for example. So here's a sample. I think this is a good length. So what I do then is I truncate. Truncate means, you know, you clip to the you cut it to the section that you have selected. And then I go and I do a little fade out. Just a little bit. And then I go here and I choose normalize. And there we have it, a sample from the Analog Rytm, very nicely sampled. And here we have a little, it's a kind of a tom sound really. So we do the same thing, we zoom, we check the start, this seems to start where I want it to, then we check the end. And I think I'll just normalize it. Yeah, I think this is good. Truncate and fade out. And here we have just a noise sweep, so we can. It's probably easier to normalize it. And I think we actually should do a little bit of fade in. Yeah, should probably do a fade in on this one as well. Let's see here. So let's go back here and do a little bit of a fade in here. Fade in, apply. And then we zoom out again and we check the whole sample. I kind of like it. I kind of like it this long. I don't want to cut too much. So let's fade out. Yeah. And here we have a hi-hat. I want to normalize it because it's pretty, you know, it's pretty low. And here we need to, you know, fix the start, something like this. And if you can hear, there's a little bit of noise in the background. I think it's because I use, on many of these sounds, I use automated modulations on the overdrive. I think that is why. Or it could just be a crappy sound card, I'm not sure. Let's see, here's a bit of fade out. We can probably do a lot more. Yeah, this is probably better. So truncate and fade out. So I hope you have your morning coffee with you, or whatever your your favorite kind of stimulant is in the morning. So if you're here checking the chat out, you can leave a comment in the chat. It's good to know what time is it where you're at. Where you're at and what time is it. It's good for me to know. So I know in the middle of the day like this is probably not the optimal time to stream, but I really wanted to check the setup out, see if it actually worked. And it's not super sexy to show you samples, but this is a sample pack I want to release sometime down the road for you guys. My idea is to have it for free and provide it you can pay whatever you want. So a little open hi-hat, I think it's the correct term. We can probably end it there, and then we want to do a fade out. So you can see how easy it is to use the Maschine Studio, and the Maschine MK2 is pretty much easy. So we have Paul Hadfield here. Hello, Bo. It's 10:39 here in London. All right, so it's time for your first sip of beer, I guess, or I don't know, fish and chips soon. Not sure. London, love the place. Been there a couple of times. I really like England. And as soon as I say England, I'm going to this posh accent, posh accent, England. I actually heard from an Englishman that a lot of Swedes, speak in quotation marks better English than some Englishmen, because we have, well, it's considered good English because we have this Queen's English. We don't speak guttural. Is it called guttural? From the gut. We don't have all the accent that some do. I'm not sure. I think a lot of Swedes have good English. My English has gotten better and better as I've been streaming. But if you look back to videos a year ago, I was really stumbling around. And here we have another hi-hat that I want to check. So this one I can almost immediately see when I want to cut the start. See how I cut the start? This is a pretty long sample with a tail. So I like to leave a tail if it's a possibility. So let's see here in the chat as well. Tomek says hi from Poland. It's 11:40 now. It's the same time as in Sweden. We are in the same time zone. He got his coffee and started watching. Thank you, Tomek. Good to have you here. And Andrew Cummings says it's 10:40 Manchester, UK. Yeah. So welcome to Poland, people. Welcome to the Englishmen. And yeah. So the Polish people closer to lunch, and the Englishmen are closer to the beer, I suppose. Let's see here. Or is it a beer, or is it how do you say it? A stout? No. What do you say? I'm not really sure. So this is a sound with a long tail, this hi-hat sound here. And if you, for example, want to use this on something like the circuit, the Novation circuit, which has a very small sample memory, or smaller, I think it's 60 seconds, you don't want long samples with tail like this. I mean, this is a, what is it? It's a 2.41 second sample. That's too long for a hi-hat sound on the circuit. That's a big part of the 60-second sample memory. So what you want to do is you want to keep them short. But on something like any computer or bigger sample player like Analog Rytm or an Octatrack or something like the Maschine here or Ableton, it's always good to keep a bit of data. So many people will probably cut down a sample like this even further to give it more a snappy feel. But when I want to make a sample pack, I want to make the samples rich with data so you can cut them. Here's some. Yeah, we need to. Sorry, I need to normalize this sample as well. Just checking, so I've normalized everything. Normalize. As you can see, this is super quick normalization here. Why doesn't this normalize? This should normalize, shouldn't it? Ah, it's uneven. Yeah, it's more to the right and then to the left. Okay, here's another sample. So let's cut the start here. Truncate. Let's cut the end here. Apply. Let's do a fade out. Apply. And let's normalize. Yeah. So these samples are very electronic, electro feeling, I think, / a bit hip-hop-ish. I think the kick, snare and clap works very well for hip-hop as well. And this is my kind of fart bass. I think it's a pretty fun sound. So let's truncate the beginning, or just cut it. It's another. I'm not really sure what truncate means in Swedish. So perhaps if you're an English speaking person, you can translate truncate for me and leave it in the chat. So let's check the chat again here. I can see we are a couple of people here, and yeah, Andrew says that beer is correct. Yeah, I know English people say beer, but I was wondering, like, do you have any other word for it that you usually say? Like, do you say in England, do you say like, let's go for and grab a beer, or do you say something else? Because in Sweden, you know, we say let's go and grab a beer, but I'm not entirely sure you do that in all over England. So perhaps you can enlighten me. So here we have this little farty bass, and we'll fade out the sample. And here we have a clap. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let's normalize. Let's zoom in. Cut the start. And fade out and normalize. A very soft little snare here. So let's see here. Let's truncate. This one is pretty short. And let's fade out. I usually fade out to try and avoid any clipping that could occur. Of course, if I cut it nicely, it shouldn't clip, or get this clicky noise when the waveform isn't cut at the 0 value. But sometimes you mess up. And here's my hi-hat with a bit of delay to it. So let's see here. Let's truncate, normalize. Oh, and we can save the project as well. And let's just fade it out at the end. So, I think we have our drum kit now. So, Paul Hadfield helps me out with my English here. So this is a music production stream and English lessons. He says truncate means to cut from part way through something to the end to the end of the thing. Okay, makes sense. And Andrew Cummings says that you can say grab a beer or bevy. Bevy. All right, let's have a bevy. So here is the finished sample kit. Kick, snare, rim shot, clap, strange bass noise, a noise clap snare. Oh, sorry, I need to remove what I had previously. Oh, there we go. So this is the drum kit that I'm thinking of releasing as a, pay what you want type thing here on my channel. So Andrew is asking, is it better to normalize everything, or would it be better to set the levels using a mixer to get all the sounds balanced? Would normalize give you a good balance anyway? No, let's start off. Normalizing, like I've done here, normalizing all the sounds, I think it's pretty common that you do that. I think that's a very common strategy, but at the same time it's very important to note that normalizing a sound isn't really the best way. You should always try and record a sound as close to zero as possible. That's what I learned when I went to music production or audio engineering class. So try and record as close to zero dB as possible. So that's what I did with the loops that I used. But these individual samples, it was too much of a hassle to tweak it. So they had a bit of headroom, so I basically normalized up to zero. If that's good or bad, well, I don't think it matters that much. But if we talk about mixing, it's important to note that when you import these drum samples, the mix isn't good. I could, of course, I'll probably set up a mix here in the program. We can go into the mix view. I think here. Let's see here. View mixer. Yeah. So this is you should be seeing the mix view right now in the stream with the different parameters. So we could mix it, on the machine, and you could mix it in your own software as well. But having everything normalized is as a starting point is good, but you really need to mix it. So for example, my loops here are sort of mixed. already, because they have the levels that I set on the Analog Rytm when I recorded it. For example, this loop here. Or this one. Yeah, we have a very good input here from Tivoli music. It's always hard with the names here. I read it from a distance. In sample libraries, you wouldn't want to normalize. It helps future users to compress and tweak the samples. So here's the thing. I don't do a lot of sample libraries, that's for sure. I'm not a professional, but I'm a happy hobbyist doing this for fun. And I know there's different opinions, that's for sure. I couldn't really tell you what the benefits are, but as you say here, there's obvious benefits with having non-normalized samples in different ways, or definitely non-processed, as little processing as possible to a sample, because the less amount of processing you have on a sample, the more you can of course add yourself. This pack I'm working on here is already processed. These aren't clean samples. If you, for example, listen to the clap here, you can hear a bit of reverb to the clap. And it's because I kind of aim this pack to somebody who wants, a bit of inspiration, who wants to get started, who don't want to sit down and fiddle the knobs endlessly in order to get started. So that's why I am, delivering something here for free that is already a bit processed. But I can definitely see that there are many reasons to leave a sample as unaltered as possible. I guess it comes down to it's a bit like when you do a synth patch or something. I mean, how heavily would you tweak it? I mean, some people they want their synth patches very clean, very standard, middle of the road, and then they add the finesse to them themselves. But some people they want like finished synth presets with a lot of modulation, a lot of effects. Of course, the more somebody already edited something or added to it, it's of course gives you a little bit of less room to add stuff yourself. That's for sure, and more so with audio. Yeah, Andrew Cummings says in the chat that it makes sense that you want to record stuff as close to zero because normalization will increase any level of background noise. Yeah, this is what I'm taught when I went to audio engineering class, that you want to record as close to zero as possible, because when you normalize you will of course increase the noise, how do you say it? The noise to signal ratio. You won't increase the ratio, but this ratio will become more noticeable. I think that's the correct way to say it. So for me it makes sense. But then of course you have headroom to consider and so on. So yeah, it's that kind of technicalities that I'm not really super interested in. I don't think it I think that we are often all too concerned with these things. I actually watched a really good episode of I think it was Fact magazine that had a really good episode where they talked about I can't remember the name of the artist. He talked about how he recorded samples, and he said a lot of people told him he did it the wrong way when he sampled stuff for his songs. The people told him like you can't do it like that, you have to do it like this, there's a lot of noise, etc. And he just said, well, this is how I do it, this is how I bring out my sound. And he was a pretty, as far as I'm concerned, a pretty successful artist, if I'm not mistaken. And his process, he had this process. He wasn't overly concerned, with having perfect audio. And I think, if you're a follower of this channel, you know that I'm no advocate of perfectionism. improvement, yes. Development, yes. Personal growth, artistic growth as well, but not perfection. Because perfection, unless perfection is something very personal to you, if you have a very personal sense of what perfection is for you, a very personal definition, a very close to the heart, kind of spiritual way of looking at perfection, yeah, then that's one thing. But if you have more of a standard way of looking at perfection, like perfection meaning there's no errors, there's no problems, there's no compromise, there's nothing that somebody can be critical of, then I think it's a problematic way of working. In some fields, for example in audio engineering, in some fields of audio engineering, I think errors might be more frowned upon or problematic, if you have big issues with the sound. But when it comes to creating a song, or creating, for example, now I'm creating building blocks, I think it's very important that there are room for happy accident, mistakes, problems, etc. Because otherwise we just end up with stuff that sounds dull, uninteresting. And this is something, I'm not speaking about this from a position where, because I'm not speaking about this because I'm good at bringing out personality in my music. Rather, I think I've struggled a lot with perfectionism and being worried that my stuff aren't up to par. Oh, I need to have a better sound card because this mix here isn't good enough or whatever. So I think that's very important. So let's see here. We have a little more, as you can see here in the chat. Yeah, thank you for liking the video, guys. It's really fun, to do a bit of live streaming. I'm not sure if I will post this on YouTube or not. I'm trying to keep my YouTube feed a little bit clean for things that are more improvised. But I'm really thankful that you guys are here. It makes a lot of difference for me to start up my day in this way. I like to connect with you. I know this time of the day aren't perfect for everybody, but sometimes my daughter is sick at the moment, and her mom is home as well, so she's taking care of her for now, and she's asleep. So I had a couple of spare minutes before lunch. So if you're new in the stream here, we are doing a little sample pack here, and here's a little loop that I just made with it. Trying to mix it a bit. And we can do something else. quickly add something. Let's see here. Do I have any fun bass sounds here that I can use? These are just presets from the V collection. Let's hope nothing crashes. That would be sad. But I think it should be safe. Sure, I'm not feeling these sounds. Oh Jesus, this was a cool sound. But a lot of delay here. Let's see if I can access this. Let's see here. And if you're hearing funny noises in the background, I think my daughter, she just woke up. Let's see here. Dodgy question here. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. And let's just add something more for fun. Let's see here. Can I add something from the Matrix here, perhaps? So these are all soft synths from the V collection from Arturia. So what we got going on here is my samples from the Rytm if you're new to the stream, and we also have a couple of sounds from the machine. These are not Native Instruments sounds, these are the Matrix 12 V2, version 2 I guess, the Matrix 12 from the V-Synth collection from Arturia, and then we have the Jupiter 8 version 3 I think, or at least it's called Jupiter 8 V3 from I'm not really sure what the name is, but Jupiter 8 is a Jupiter 8 clone, Jupiter clone from Arturia as well. And I think I was about to load something here as well to complement. Let's see here, what can we do? Do a prophet sound. I'm not really sure. V collection is really nicely integrated into Maschine, so you have access to all the parameters here, or most of them. Alright guys, so the stream is coming to an end. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me and checking so that the technology actually works. It seems like I managed to get the microphone, the machine, the internal sound of my rig to work as I wanted it to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm very thankful for having you here, and you know, for all the support over on YouTube and patreon.com/bowbeats. So I can just leave you with a little teaser that a company with a name that is usually, you know, it's usually a hot debate whether you should pronounce it one way or another way. They are sending me a toy that I'm, you know, they basically wanted to support me and support my videos. So they're sending me a piece of kit, and I hope to do videos on it as well. I really enjoy doing, you know, software videos as well like this, but you know, in general, it's a lot more fun to use hardware and do videos on it as well. So so yeah, I hope to bring you more fun videos. And I can see here in the chat, you know, we hear Yrje Puska. Good to see you, man. Good to see you here. Yeah, sorry, this was just a little improvised stream. I really wanted to stream. Basically, I wanted to stream, and then I couldn't figure out a good way to do it with my phone. I wanted to have a quicker way to stream on YouTube, but since they haven't launched their live streaming service on the phone as of yet, not to everybody at least, I really I actually took it upon myself to sort out all the settings on my computer so I could sync everything up, and it actually went more smooth than I thought, having all having everything set up here. So basically I just been showing people the sample pack that I'll be releasing with a couple of loops. And the one-shots. So I'm very thankful for having you guys, and you should have a great start to your day now, I hope, with some coffee in the belly. Go out and have some fish and chips or beer or whatever you do in England. And in Poland, I'm not sure, is it vodka over there? I'm not entirely sure what your standard lunch beverage is. Here in Sweden, it's milk, at least if you're a kid. We're a big milk country. So guys, thank you so much for stepping by. Hope to see you over on YouTube, on Facebook. Don't forget to check me out on facebook.com/bonurmimusic. I think there's a link in the description or on another video. Just Facebook search Bo Beats and you'll find it. You can always check out patreon.com/bobeats and instagram.com/bobeats and Twitter, where my handle is bobeatsmusic, because I guess Bob Eats took my name. I'm not sure. So thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope to catch you in another stream. And I will do scheduled streams in the future when I have all the technology sorted out. So thank you so much.